Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Clash in a Flash podcast. I'm your host Emerson,
and co-host Tuan here.
and today we'll be speaking about rewards in Clash as well as the team creation section. So, I think this is a really interesting topic for myself and Tuan here, because this is kind of why we play Clash. It's kind of for the
Big facts.
rewards. um, And so yeah, like talking about whether or not they're worth it right now or if they're good in general, I would say that our experiences with Clash is it's not the best.
Mm,
There's definitely some room
Yeah,
for improvement here. Like as people who've been playing Clash in the beta, I think that um getting first is nice, but the rewards you get for getting first doesn't make me feel like I'm amazing or anything. Like they're nice rewards, but I don't feel like really special for getting it. What do you think about it, Tuan?
yeah. I think the current rewards, like say for example, if you just got the regular ticket and you got first place, for me, I'll personally like to win like a skin that you unlock permanently. But I know at the moment you just get a bunch of like skin shards and get emotes, which I think is like nice and all, but I think it definitely feel better to feel rewarded. Like I think what right should do to make like winning a clash tournament feel more satisfying is to basically have it be an epic skin permanent unlock for winning the whole thing. So that way like there's like an actual prize to win. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna add more stuff to my loot collection, right? And that's just for the rare clash ticket itself. We'll go a bit deeper into the premium Clash Ticket Awards because I think that section is a bit more interesting. But just for the people who like to use the regular Clash tickets, I definitely do think that the rewards can be improved.
Yeah, and speaking more about that, I think that idea of like a Clash specific skin would be really interesting. I think like um they would have to kind of balance it, obviously, because like yeah, it is kind of giving away a free skin, but it's an exclusive skin for like winning Clash. I think that what they could do is it could be maybe like 5 different champions that have this clash specific skin, and they could all be like different roles. And I think that a really good example would be on that clash like banner. I think it has those like three, or sorry, it has those 5 different um champions on it. I think it could be those 5 champions in that like silhouette looking thing. I think like Lux and Zac are some of them. So it could be like if you win Clash, then you get a skin on one of those 5. Like it's a chance. But then there could be even chromas for them. So like if you wanted to collect them all in quotes as a reward for like winning lots of clashes, you need to play a lot of Clash and win, right? So it could be like a long goal that teams that are competing Clash consistently every 2 weeks is aiming for, right? Like they aim for the win, they get the win, and then they get like the Zac Clash skin. And they're like, great, now that they have the Zac Clash skin, the next time they play, they could get one of the other champions, or they could get the chroma for the Clash Zac skin or something like that. That's a way of like giving something to look forward to. It still has that RNG aspect that like some people hate, some people like. Because like for example, me as a mid lane ADC player, if I got the Zac Clash skin, I'm like, cool. Like it is nice, but obviously since I don't play Zac, I'll be aiming for another win, right? Because I want the Lux skin if it is the Lux for mid lanes, that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, I think that that would be a really cool way to do it for like the regular ticket. And then if you did the premium ticket, it could be like the prestige Zac Clash skin
Oh my
or
god.
something, right? So we can add then that element of like still more RNG, because it might not be the right one, right? If I got the prestige Zac one, I'd be like, oh great, Like I don't play Zac, but I still got a clash specific skin for a champion, and it's now the prestige version. So technically, I would arguably
Mhm.
say that I got my money worth for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think it would be really cool if Riot did something like that, similar to how um I believe, yeah, local tournaments. If you win a local tournament, you get the triumphant rise. I think that's really cool because you can sort of flex to everyone in your games. If you have the triumphant rise, it's like, hey guys, look, I won a land tournament, and that's the only way I can get this skin. So, if they did something similar to have a clash, where let's say, for example, if you won like multiple tier 1 clashes, then you unlock that like exclusive skin. Like for example, if it was Zac, there's like a Zac skin for what's it called? Sorry, Clash, and you get the chromas for it because like you're tier 1, you still beat them and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool. Like, I think one idea that I think really nice is if like there was different comas based on which tier you're in. Like if you're tier 4 and you won, you get a certain chroma. I think you're tier 3, you unlock another chroma plus the one tier 4. And I just think that there are so many things that like our ideas rather that I think could definitely work. Cause yeah, once again, the Clash ticket rewards, it just doesn't feel too great to win at the moment.
Yeah, like if I were to just like pick and point at like let's just talk about like the first um like if you get first place, right? So if you just bought the regular clash ticket, not premium, you would get an icon permanent, a 640 orange essence ward skin shard, an emo permanent, another clash ticket, a free clash ticket, a 975 skin shard, and an epic skin shards. So the only things that are permanent here are the icon permanent and the emo
Mhm.
permanent. Everything
Yeah.
else are just shards, meaning that you need to have orange essence in order to actually like get those rewards, right? And then so that's first place, right? Now let's move on something lower. Let's do fourth place. That means like you won the first game and then you lost the next two, for example, I think. In
Mhm.
fourth place, you would get an icon permanent, a 640 ward skin shard, and just an emo permanent. So the difference between first place and fourth place is that you don't get the 975 skin shard, you don't get a clash ticket, and you don't get an epic skin shard.
Yeah, and I think especially for like someone who doesn't really care too much about getting more skin shards, since there's like so many like skins that you could possibly get from it. So it's not even like there's this one skin that like you really want, but then like the chance of getting it is so low because there's already so many other skins that share like that same tier. It just makes it really hard. And just to follow up with your point for the first place rewards, I think it's really feels bad that even when you get first place and get all these skins, it's like you don't even unlock them. You have to spend orange essence to actually unlock them, which I think is pretty feels bad because it's like saying if you won a tournament and then when you get your prize, the person that created the event's like, oh yeah, can you help us pay for this by the way? Like we actually couldn't afford it, but if you help us pay for it, then you can get it. Then so like it defeats the purpose of having a prize pool in the first place. Because I feel like if you were to win a tournament, like you should definitely get rewarded for stuff that's not just like unlocking an emote and an icon.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It like specific even for first place. Like I think I could to a certain extent understand for like third place. But I think first place and second place deserve to like, if they are getting a skin shard, they should get it like just straight up, like permanently. Because it's still
Mhm,
RNG. It might just be a skin that you don't even like on a champion you don't even play kind of thing, right? Um
mhm,
but like they made it. Like first place won all three games. Second place won their first two and then lost their third. But that still meant that they won their first two, right? I think that
mhm,
going from third lower, I could see that if they're giving out skin shards, which they aren't, they you would need to like have orange essence, right? Because it's like, okay, you made it decently far, but like you didn't go all the way, so like this is your reward, right? Um,
mhm.
but yeah, I think just to move on slightly to a different part of rewards is like I'd like to ask you personally, like right now in the rewards for the non-premium class ticket, it seems like as long as you're not eighth place, you get an icon permanent, and you only start getting a ward skin shard and emo permanent after fifth and fourth. So you get your emo permanent starting from fourth place up, and then you get your 640 skin ward skin shard from fifth place and up. For you personally speaking, with those three um rewards, like either the icon, the emote, or the ward skin, do you think that Riot has it right? Like, do you value an icon permanent less than those two, or do you really value an emo permanent more than those two? How do you feel?
I'll say for me personally, I'm a pretty big fan of emotes, unlocking them. So, like, because with emotes, I find it so like it depends on the emotes that they like have going to the future as well. Because I definitely do like some emotes that they have, like the be angry, be sad, the penguin dab. Like, although I personally unlock those, like just if I were to win that from a clash reward, and basically it's like when I can use the BM, I think it's pretty like good. Like I think fourth place above, like emo permanent, I'm pretty happy unlocking. I also saw like how for fifth place you get a skin shard, just because like it goes to show that like although you lost the first game, you can still win your next two because there is still some value in like still trying after that first loss. And then this might be a little hot take, but for me personally, I think I'll value getting the 3 XP boost more than the icon permanent because with a 3 win XP boost, that'll just allow me to get those cons. I think it's capsules or like those orbs that you get whenever you level up, which basically you get consists of like those champ shards and stuff like that. And basically, I can just use that to get more blue essence, which then I can use for, upcoming like Emporium shops. I have more blue essence to work with versus Icon Permanent where like it's nice to add to your collection, but it's like I'm probably never going to use that ever again.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's I think it is definitely a hot take.
yeah,
um, but I think I can see where you're coming from. Yeah. Um, I think it's really interesting because I'm curious about me and Tuan have played a lot of Clash, so we've actually had some times where we lost the first game, and then the second game, um, we either lost or won. Like we've had both scenarios where we've lost or won the second game, and then the last game is a DQ. Like the enemy team just like decided to just they didn't even want to play it anymore. So I'm
mhm,
curious if that's like I don't know, the enemy team tilted or they just don't find value in playing this last game. Because if we were to go down the line, if we lose the first game, then that means that the best placement we can get after losing the first game is fifth place. So if we won the second game, and this is a fight for fifth place now, the last
mhm,
team either tilted, even though they won their second game,
mhm,
but they thought to themselves, is fifth place really worth it? All we're getting is an icon permanent, and a 640 ward skin shard. And then they thought, probably not, right? So they just DQ'd, and then we automatically won.
Yeah.
Um, or if if it was one where we lost the first game and then we lost the second game, and now we're just fighting for seventh place, then the enemy team either super tilted because they lost their first two games and they just don't even want to play the third and just DQ, or they're like, "What's the best thing we can get here, boys? Just an icon permanent? Yeah, this isn't worth our time." And then they just take the L and they just like dip, right? I'm wondering if like, is it because of the rewards why people are more okay with just disqualifying themselves?
Yeah, I think you bring up a very interesting point because, like, I do think the current awards aren't really worth it, especially if you lost your first two games, because, like, you're basically just fighting to get an icon permanent, which, like, I don't think many would find a lot of value in. Like, imagine spending 30 minutes just to win, like, a random icon that you don't have control of, like, which one to choose. That feels bad. Like, if you like playing in the 5v5 setup, then like you still probably enjoy it nonetheless. But if you're playing Clash just mainly to get the rewards, it definitely will be. It feels bad because there isn't really much of a difference in terms of rewards, in my opinion. Hence why I feel like they could probably do a better job. But of course, at the same time, like I think it's sort of hard to like make getting seventh place feel worth it without making the teams that got placed above them, like, get more, if that makes sense. Because I think, like, let's say hypothetically, if getting seventh place unlocks a 640 ward skin shard, then that would have to mean all the teams that placed above them, they'll need to get something more in value. Because in their eyes, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, hey, like, this team, although they got seventh, they got something that's pretty decent, which is the word skin shard." And you'll be thinking, and we got fourth, but we just unlocked an extra emote on top of everything else that seventh place won. So it's like, is it even really worth it to play if we have already lost? Because like the reward difference just isn't worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I think we can move on from the general class check rewards and go on to the premium class check rewards here now. Um, yeah, like just looking at this, it seems like no matter what, even if you're eighth place, you get a clash ticket, but a regular clash ticket, a 750 skin shard, and then also 500 orange essence. And the orange essence amount increases if you get fourth place or above. But yeah, that's the lowest. And the highest you can get if you get first place and you bought a premium ticket is you get that clash ticket reward again, 750 skin shard, a 975 skin shard, an epic skin shard, a legendary skin shard, and then an epic skin permanent, as well as a gemstone and 750 orange essence.
Yeah. Now this is what I'm talking about when it comes to Value Town, because to get first place and basically spending the same RP as you would for a 975 skin, like you're getting a lot worth of value. Obviously, you're banking on the fact that you're gonna win the whole thing, but I think this is definitely like a bang for your buck because not only are you getting a skin that is worth more than the ticket itself, which itself is pretty worth in my opinion. You also get a gemstone, which I know for those people who like to collect those hex tech skins, that's something that they're going to keep their eyes on too. And granted, the only way you can get this ticket is if you use real money. So it is balanced in the aspect where the rewards do seem to look a lot better. And like to be honest, I think the rewards in the Clash Premium ticket it's more fair if that makes sense. I guess like the only thing that I would say is I feel like second and third place should be different in terms of like the rewards because as of right now, when we're recording this podcast, they both are winning the same thing. And I think it should be second place does at least get something a little more just because they're in like that finals match. I don't know if like Vi said it this way just so it feels like depending on like how many wins and loss you got, like they don't care how many wins you got in the upper bracket versus how much in the lower bracket. But I don't know. I just feel like second and third place should be like a bit different in terms of awards. Like I don't know if you feel the same way as I do in this one, Emerson.
Yeah, I think that that makes sense. I think that idea though of like you won your first game in all situations. If you're top four, you won your first game, and then the second game, if you win it, then you're in fight for first place. And then if you lost, then okay, you lost. But then if you lost your second game, but then you end up winning your third game, it's like, oh great, you got third place. Um, I think that yeah, they definitely should be different. I think to kind of counteract your point though that you said earlier about whether or not these rewards here are fair. I think they are fair. I still think though that especially if you're spending um RP here or like real world money, riot points, there could be an argument for both sides that like by giving them a shard, if it's a shard of a skin that you don't want, you can disenchant it for essence. But I still think that it should be permanent. Like the whole like discussion we had earlier about like, oh look, you got this reward, but you kind of have to pay for it too. It's kind of awkward. I wish that there was a way that they could make it so that you get the shard, but you can automatically turn it into permanent or orange essence of your choosing without actually using any orange essence. Especially if you're getting a premium ticket. Like if you win the whole thing and like you got the 750 skin shard, you got the 975 skin shard, the epic skin shard, the legendary skin shard, and the skin permanent, right? So the skin permanent, you can't do anything about, right? Like you just get that permanent skin for free. But you get four other shards, meaning that even if you wanted to get all four, let's say all four of them were actually nice skins, you would need to get enough orange essence. And they do give you a bit of orange essence, but like you probably realistically still need more. So I think that especially for the premium ticket, I think that they should give the ability to the person who got these skin shards to either unlock permanently for no orange essence cost because they just gave real money anyways. Um, but then also disenchant if they don't like it. Because if they don't like it, then yeah, like making it a skin shard's nice because they can disenchant and use that orange essence somewhere else. But if they do like it, then I don't think that they should be paying for it, right? Because they've already paid for it.
Yeah. No, I definitely get where you're coming from. And like I guess if there was one thing that I think where it could change is if like let's say they move the epic skin permanent from first to second, and instead for first you just get flat out RP back. I think although that sounds a
Hmm.
little insane,
Yeah. I don't know if Riot would be like okay with that, but I
yeah,
understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
yeah, small indie company, they can only afford to give us so much. So, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. So that's more or less on the rewards here. So we can kind of
Mhm,
move on to our other topic for this podcast, which is um, team creation section. This has definitely been something that could use some love. I think that they've been doing a good job with creating more logos. I like the logos that they've created. Like they made a Tomasian logo, an Oxus logo. When the huge like 16-man tournament came, they had like the Conqueror Clash Cup and like all those other different versions. I think those were nice. um
mhm,
I think definitely there could be more logos. I think it would be really cool if they allowed us to not make custom logos, like not just purely custom, because like I think that would be really difficult. But I think it'd be cool if we could like
Copyright.
mix and match like different parts of other logos. Like let's say like it was the logo was like a body of someone, right? So like let's say they split the body into three parts, so it could be like head, upper body, like their chest area, and then like their legs. Like it would be cool
Mhm.
if we could like mix and match like different logos together, like but different bodies and different heads and different legs. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Like I think there's so much that they could like there's so much potential in this team creation system. And like as you mentioned, yeah, the whole mix and match I think could be very nice to have. I also do think the whole uh the clan tag thing could also be another one. Like because right now they're forcing it to like you need to have three, like they're not allowing two. And I think that you should be able to have two because you have teams for those who watch the esports side of League of Legends. Teams like G2, C9 don't only have two, but then Riot allows it, and so for us, it's like why can't Clash have the same thing, right? Because it's one less, but it could still be valid. It's just like a little bit of a like stuff like that. I wish that they would allow, but
Yeah, it's like a small quality of life thing, I would say. Like I like obviously me and Tuan don't have a gaming background or gaming programming background, but like I assume it's not the most difficult thing to allow two-letter clan tags to be part of the system, and then yeah, sure, like then you might have situations where one team is two letters and then another team is three letters, but I don't know if it's like completely game breaking. um but yeah, it is definitely a quality of life thing, because there's been a lot of situations where us as a team are like trying to think of a funny team name, because we tend to change our team names with every clash, like each every other weekend kind of thing. um and a lot of times we have ideas that are like just two words, like they're two words, so then like it would we would want to do like those two words as like the clan tag, right? So like for example, like really nice, and so really nice would be like RN, but we can't do RN because it has to be three letters. So even though that might be a tag that we really like and like a name we really like, we don't do it because it won't fit, right?
yeah, and like you could make the argument that you can just try and make it fit into three letters, but like it's not the same. Like it would just feel so weird, and I think it'd be really nice if Riot did allow us to have a clan tag just want to be two letters. I think that would be a nice quality of life. But to go back to your point about the whole logo thing, I think another thing that Riot can do to increase the amount of logos to choose from, they can have it similar to like the emotes they have currently. Like I think you can definitely use some of the emotes as the team logos, like the Pengu Deb or like that monkey who's like this is my Coco thing, or the Tark Fabulous. I think those all could be very good like logos to choose from, and I think that okay, sorry. Okay, three, two, and also like another thing they can do as well is they can have some logos look similar to Twitch emotes, like the whole Pepe hands, Poggers, Keck W. Well, obviously not actually copy and paste them, but have like champions using the same like expressions as those emotes. I think that also be really cool. I just think, oh my gosh, there's so much like ideas that I have. Like obviously, once again, since you don't work in the programming slash game development side of Riot, we don't know how practical it is to actually implement them. But I think like it'd be really cool to see uh those things be included basically.
Yeah, I think that another thing I thought about is like it would be nice if like I know that player created logos wouldn't necessarily be the easiest thing to implement, but I think it would be cool if like similar to how Riot does those polls of like, oh, which champion should we do a rework on next, or like which champion needs a VFX update or whatever. I actually don't know if they've ever done a poll for that, but like the rework thing they have, I think it'd be cool if like it's a smaller and niche community because like specifically those who play Clash, but like it'd be cool if they brought out like 5 6 emotes, or not emotes, sorry, like Clash logos, and then they were like, hey, Clash people who play Clash, like vote on which one of these you want added, right? So like this could
Mhm.
give the Clash players like some more control or feel like they're contributing a bit more, as in like, oh, like we want more logos, okay, cool, here are some logos that we created, pick which one or vote for which one you like more, right?
Mhm.
um it would be kind of cool as well if people could submit logos like that way. They could submit ideas and feel like their voice is being heard, and then Riot can choose which ones are appropriate, right? Like obviously some people are going to post some logos that are might not be appropriate or something like that, blah blah blah. But like, there's tons of people who play this game, so there's probably tons of like talented artists and stuff who like make some like sick ass logos. So giving the opportunity for the players themselves, the player base, to put in like their own character designed logos or whatever it is, custom designed logos, would be cool. Because then imagine that, right? You make a logo, you give it to Riot. Riot actually like gets it and like it's like, oh, this is cool, and they implement it into the game, and then now when you play with your Clash team you can use the logo that you made. Like that would be so cool and such a cool experience for Clash goers to be like, oh man, like we gotta always use this logo now because I made it, or like, oh, like this, like I've seen like other teams use my logo now too, like that's so cool, like a cool experience for them, right?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I think like you can even hold it like a contest thing
Yeah,
from
yeah,
like
yeah,
right
yeah.
themselves. And yeah, like I think like having it be so community driven is like I think it's such a great idea because Clash is also when you think about it, you're playing like competitive 5v5 with communication with your teammates, and for the most part, there is gonna at least be someone on your team that you know in like a real world. And like yeah, I think there's just I think that's like a really good idea, Emerson. And then if they make it like a contest, it makes it like just that much better.
Yeah. uh yeah, I always like that idea of like um companies, or like, yeah, basically big companies like giving the users the opportunity to, submit their own ideas and stuff like that. Like I think that Riot already does a really good job of like showcasing or spotlighting like when people make fan art of like their favorite champion, stuff like that, and like, reposting it onto Instagram and stuff like that. So I think that another way to do that is, yeah, like allowing a person's creation to exist in the game in some form, right? And it is specific Clash thing, so I wouldn't say like it's like completely game breaking. It's not like someone created a skin and then that skin now exists in the game. I think they've done that before, but like it's not. At least I don't think it's not that crazy, like as something to implement. So I think this is definitely something that they could do if they wanted to grow, um, like Clash's popularity more, because uh as it stands, like I'm assuming Clash was one of the reasons why they are trying to like, keep League relevant and stuff like that, give players the experience of quote unquote playing in a competitive 5v5 environment, in comparison to, like regular solo queue and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just another element that they can add, um to keep the player base happy, to get more people interested, because like maybe you never did Clash, but you like making art, so like you submit one in anyways, and then your logo gets picked, and then you're like, oh wow, like I want to use this logo, but you to use the logo you got to play Clash. So then like, yeah, maybe I'll try out Clash, right?
Yeah, I I definitely agree because it's also like this way they can potentially grab a bigger audience too for Clash, and like I just think this just overall is such like a great promoting tool, and also at the same time to also get more uh customization stuff in terms of whether it's logos, clan tags, or even like the colors of the logos as well. Like yeah, like the list just doesn't end there.
Yeah, so that'll be the end of this episode of Clash in a Flash podcast. We've actually decided to move over our Clash meta report into its own standalone content or kind of video, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, as always, I'm your host, Emerson,
And your co-host Juan here,
and thanks for watching or listening.
or both.